Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Six key content marketing metrics to analyze. You may find yourself seeking information on a number of different metrics, depending on your goals and the nature of your brand, but these 6 key areas of analysis are some of the most important for understanding the effectiveness of your content marketing efforts. 1. Traffic. Content marketing is an inbound strategy, and one of its biggest goals is to bring more people to your website. Depending on your area of expertise, or how you're developing content, you may attract different types of traffic or attract it in different ways, but traffic is still a vital measure for the health of your campaign. For example, posting content off of your website with links pointing back to it will generate referral traffic, which you can use as a way to gauge off-site reader interest. Similarly, you can use social traffic to gauge your audience's content interest on various social media platforms, or organic traffic to see how your content affects your search rankings. You'll also be able to evaluate your traffic qualitatively. Who's coming to your site, and why? 2. Conversions. There are dozens of online marketing services, but almost all of them boil down to one goal: increasing conversions. A conversion is a successful user interaction, such as a user making a purchase, completing a form, or downloading a piece of content, and for most companies, this translates to revenue. In some cases, conversions will be a way to value the traffic that your content earns, and in others, you'll be using conversions to track your content's success at converting readers. 3. Popularity. You'll also want to measure the popularity of your content, in ways that transcend traffic or conversions. Some of your articles are going to be more popular than others, earning more shares, comments, engagements, and inbound links. Obviously, there's something you'll want to learn from these outstanding pieces. You'll also need to learn which of your strategies or topics are ineffective, so you can weed those out of your lineup. Popularity can't be tied to an objective value, the way that conversions or traffic can, but it's an important qualitative measure to help you improve your content marketing efforts. 4. Brand awareness. Brand awareness is a notoriously difficult data point to measure, and there's no universally agreed on way to measure it. You could use social listening software to see how often your brand is mentioned on social media channels, news articles, or blogs, or you could conduct a wide-scale survey to see who has heard of your brand before and who hasn't, but these are indirect measures of a qualitative characteristic. You won't find brand awareness in any online analytics dashboard, but it's still important to gauge how effective you are in promoting your brand. 5. Consumer engagement. Engagement is similar to popularity in that it can't be tied to an objective value, but it's a great way to gauge the health of your campaign. Getting more engagements means you're selecting good topics, covering them appropriately, and most importantly, keeping yourself highly relevant to a specific target audience. Comments, interactions, tweets, shares, downloads, and discussions are all various forms of engagement you can look at to tell you how well you're doing. 6. Reputation. Brand reputation is another finicky measurement, but fortunately, this one has a handful of practical, objective measurements to point you in the right direction. For example, you can measure your site's domain authority to determine how authoritative Google probably views your website. You may also want to go deeper by determining how users feel about your content specifically, such as conducting reader satisfaction surveys or asking for feedback. I'll be digging deeper into all these topics in the next few sections, but I wanted to give you a high-level view of the context before we start measuring and analyzing each of these data points. The next 2 sections will be focusing on the concept of ROI, boiling complex data points down to objective measurements, and on qualitative measures of campaign effectiveness, which are beneficial but are tough to reduce to concrete takeaways. Content marketing ROI. For this brief section, we're going to be focusing on the fundamentals of ROI, and to do that, we'll be focusing on objective, quantitative data as much as possible. What is ROI? First, let's define ROI. It's an acronym that stands for return on investment, and most marketers will tell you it's one of, if not the most important metric you need to know to determine your campaign's effectiveness. If your ROI is positive, you're doing something right. Keep working to improve it. If your ROI is negative, you know that something isn't working and it needs to change. There are a few problems with ROI when it comes to content marketing. However, content affects many areas. One of the reasons why content marketing is so powerful in the first place is because it doesn't rest alone in any one area. It affects your domain authority and the amount of virtual real estate your website has. It facilitates social media marketing and email marketing, and can be used for countless other channels. It can even be used for client retention in addition to or instead of client acquisition. Not all content effects are easy to measure. Some content benefits are terribly difficult to quantify. An increase in brand reputation can increase your conversion rates and may push users further along the buying cycle when they get to your site, but you can't quantify these things with any degree of certainty. It's a slow building strategy. It takes a long time to see the true benefits of content marketing. As you grow your strategy from nothing, you'll almost certainly start with a neutral or negative ROI, which can only become positive after months or even years of effort. Despite these weaknesses, understanding your ROI as well as possible is crucial, so I still highly encourage you to keep it as one of your top priorities for gauging campaign success. Google Analytics. When it comes to quantitative data for your content campaign, there's no better general tool than Google Analytics. It will help you track almost any data point you can imagine related to your content or your site, and it's pretty easy to use. It even integrates with a number of third-party dashboards. Best of all, it's completely free. All you need is a Google account, and you can grab a tracking script to place within the code of your site. There may be other platforms that can serve your specific needs better or ones that are easier for you to use personally, but Google Analytics can work for almost anybody, so it's the most universal platform I can offer or suggest. Throughout this section, I'll be exploring the different areas of Google Analytics you can use to evaluate your content marketing campaign, where to find it, and what your key takeaways should be from the information you find. I've organized this section in broad categories of data, such as traffic and conversions, so even if you don't plan on using Google Analytics, you can still learn about the key metrics you need to measure and why they're so important. I'll be exploring alternative and complementary tools in the final section of this guide, so keep these metrics in mind for those as well. Traffic. First, let's take a look at traffic, the number of people who visit your site. Obviously, the more people who visit your site, the better. More incoming people means you'll have more opportunities for conversions, and even if they don't convert, you'll at least build more brand familiarity. One of the primary functions of content is to attract new users in the first place, and you can use the acquisition section of Google Analytics to see how well your content performs this function. Find the acquisition section on the left-hand side of the dashboard, and click on the Overview. This will give you a detailed breakdown of how many visitors have come to your site during the time period you've selected, and where those users came from. There are 4 main potential sources of traffic here, all of which tie back to your content in some way. You can view this from a high level, or click into each individual traffic channel to get more detailed information. Organic traffic. First, take a look at your organic traffic. This is a measure of all the traffic your site has received from organic searches in search engines like Bing and Google. You can break this down by search engine, and look at the keyword used for each search, but the big number to pay attention to here is the number of sessions you received. If you're using content as part of an SEO strategy, this is the most comprehensive measure you can use to gauge its effectiveness. The more authority and visibility online you generate through your campaign, the higher this number will climb. Just keep in mind this figure is also influenced by your SEO efforts. If you see this number stagnating or dwindling, you'll have to readjust the keyword focus and authoritative strength of your content. Referral traffic. Your referral traffic will give you another measure of your content-specific influence. Referral traffic measures people who came to your site by clicking on an external link. Since many of your external links will be built in the content you've submitted to off-site publishers, you'll have clear insight not only into which publishers are sending you the most traffic, but what types of topics are generating the most visitors? Be sure to drill into this one, as it also includes referral traffic from links independent from your content marketing strategy. Take inventory of what parts of your off-site content strategy are succeeding or failing, and make adjustments accordingly. Social traffic. Next, you'll want to take a look at the social traffic you've been able to generate. As you might imagine, this collects all the inbound traffic you've received from your social media channels, such as Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and you can even look to see specifically which channels are generating the most traffic. From there, you can click into each individual platform and see what links syndicated on those platforms are responsible for what share of traffic you're getting. It's a fantastic way to gauge how your content is reaching the different segments of your social audience. Direct traffic. Finally, we have direct traffic, which is a bit harder to dissect. Direct traffic is comprised of several different potential sources. Typing in your website address in the URL bar. Clicking a link from an email. Clicking a link from chat software. Clicking a link from a shortened URL. Clicking a link from a mobile social media app such as Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Clicking a link from a secure site that leads to a non-secure site. Watch out for this, because some major publications, such as entrepreneur.com, use HTTPS. So, if your site isn't secure, then any referral traffic you get from it will actually show up in the direct traffic bucket in Google Analytics. Organic search. A study by Groupon found that up to 60% of traffic being reported as direct was actually organic search traffic. It's not yet known why some organic search traffic is dumped into the wrong bucket, but it's worth knowing about. There's no easy way to tell how many users who accessed your site directly did so because they've been exposed to your content in the past, but there are ways to evaluate how many visitors are new versus how many have been here before. I'll be touching on that in a later section. Don't write off direct traffic entirely, but it's usually not as closely related to your content strategy as these other channels.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.